Adam and the Ants with Stand and Deliver here on POS Radio. Before that, we had the Black Crows from NASCAR 06 with Go Fast, my favorite country tracks of all time. And at the start, it was Sports Car from Tate McRae. All very apt here as we're talking all about the new audio drama Burnout. And I'm joined by Lewis Carter from Finding Ray Media, all about this whole show. Now, earlier on, we were just talking about this whole racing audio drama, which is set in the future with Sci-Fi, with zero-G racing, with crime syndicates who control the racing, with our two characters, Theo and Iris. But the one thing I really want to know from this, Lewis, is what was the real inspiration for this? Because the whole concept of a racing audio drama, we don't really get much in the way of racing dramas. I mean, we were just saying just before we went live about how I remember Driven, which is based in indie racing with IRL, Rush, all about the story of James Hunt and Niki Lauda. And then, of course, we have Drive to Survive. We got the F1 movie coming up soon. But in terms of audios, we don't really get that. So what was the real inspiration to try something like this?
Well, on a selfish level, my inspiration was to work with the production company Alternative Stories again, who produced the show. Chris Gregory and Emily Penn are the masterminds behind that operation, and they've. I just wanted to work with them again. I did a standalone audio drama, which did quite well, went into festivals, represented the UK around the world. So for our next one, I knew I wanted to write something longer, more serialized, and something in the sci-fi genre, which I could sort of mash together lots of things that interest me. And one of the things we'd done in the past at Fine Roller Media is we produced a series of videos for Alpine and Renault Formula One team.
Yes, I did spot that. As someone who's an F1 fan, I was like, oh, hello. Because looking at the colour scheme, that would have been circa 2019-ish, 18?
It's going back a while, yes. But we love doing that. And you know, they, as much as Drive to Survive has dramatized it, that they were lovely. They were really nice. But there is that aspect of, you know, the drama behind the races, and some people refer to it as the snake pit. So I always thought
that's the name of the episode for episode 4, even the snake pits.
Yes, exactly. We do touch on that. So I always thought there'd be something there in terms of putting a sci-fi spin on really high competitive racing with race teams that are controlled by crime lords, essentially, and what that would look like. So it's a mix of racing as warfare and organized crime clans duking it out on the track to become number one.
So in terms of that then, in terms of the driving style, is there actually, we talked about Wipeout just earlier on, of course, you and I were big fans of the Crash Bandicoot series with Crash Team Racing and other ones.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have power-ups in this particular race? Do they have like missiles or smoke, fog, or other bits that can affect zero-G reflectors? As I'm saying, how do they race cleanly or dirtily in this particular landscape?
There's no such thing as clean racing in the world of Burnout. It's, yeah, you do whatever it takes to win. There's casualties in every race, not just with the racers, but people in the stands. And when they drive through the cities, if people are in the way, they are red mist, I'm afraid. But yeah, it's a very harsh world. It's funny when I talk about the racing, I like to leave a little bit of ambiguity, just because it's an audio production. When I write the race scenes, I see them in a very certain way. But obviously, when people are listening, they've got the actor's performance and the sound effects. They'll see it maybe slightly differently. So I like to leave a little bit of ambiguity there. But it's certainly a lot dirtier racing than you get on your average Sunday afternoon with Formula One.
So literally does follow on from the Burnout series, which the whole concept of Burnout as the video game series is literally to race and crash out your opponents and wipe them out, as it was. So yeah, definitely right up my street, because I adored that series back in the late noughties, up to Paradise, which of course got remastered about 7 years ago now, so time's flying past on that one. But yeah, it's great series. As mentioned just before, this is a Welsh production with a couple of Welsh actors, if I'm right, as well, and made here in Wales. It's great to have that, because we do have a little bit of racing pedigree here, because of course we've got Elfyn Evans, who's in World Rally Championships at the moment. We have the Welsh Rally, the late Tom Price, who many people were chalking up as being a potential champion in the future in Formula One. And we even have some young up-and-comers, like we notice we have Harrison Whitcomb, who this time last week actually took part in the British Kart Championships. And in fact, right now is in Portimao in Portugal, who is actually doing racing, representing the UK. For Pembrokeshire and for Wales as well, which is brilliant. So would you feel this could inspire people to maybe go into more of the sci-fi drama or even look into racing more as well?
I mean, I certainly love that. I mean, I think the Welsh link for us is very much me. Although one of our producers, Chris Gregory, did also come to Aberystwyth during his time at university and fell in love with Wales.
A fellow Aberystwyth alumni, not just me.
There we go. And if you listen closely to some of the scenes, I don't know how this has worked out. I think I may have been the butt of a joke here, but in some of the bar scenes, in the dive bars in the series, a lot of the voices are Welsh, and I don't know whether they think we just constantly spend time drinking in bars, but I mean, they're not a million miles away from the truth, so maybe I'll let them have that one.
Given that you went to Aberystwyth with the most pubs, bars, and clubs in a mile radius, that would make sense. Depending if you end up at like the Ship and Castle, the Coops, Downey's, why not, peer pressure, so many options. So that would not surprise me in the slightest. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that. And of course, Wales does reference itself in some racing games. So it's all about Wipeout. There was actually a team based in South Wales in 2097.
You're
which
joking.
surprised me. Yeah, I was actually looking through the booklet, and also a website to look up is Wales in Gaming. I actually had the guy who produced it. He actually lives in Texas now, of all places. He chronicles every time Wales features or is mentioned in a video game, and Wipeout is one of those ones. So maybe an Easter egg in future for that one.
Maybe I'll have to get in touch with him, send him the show.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Yeah, in fact, I'll actually reference that to him later on. But we're going to hop into a little bit more music now, for we're going to be talking about some last parts about this, about people, A, where to watch it or listen to it, and B, about the future, because whether we have a season 2, whether we have a season 3, because we got the finale coming up on Friday. So we talk about that in a few months. But first, though, we're going to have a bit of Burnout music once again. We're going to have one of my favorite tracks of all time from that, which is The Lazy Generation from the F-Ups, the title track from Burnout 3 Takedown back in 2005. Yeah, it's 20 years ago already, which is not right at all. Following that, we're going to have a bit of Wipeout with 2097, with the Future Sound London with Landmass to get us into that Burnout feeling here on Pure West Radio.
Pure West Radio's Sunday gaming show is proudly sponsored by Mag